it's been a fun couple of days, from almost going headfirst into a bird fight to finding somewhere to land over the holiday weekend. I'll tell you a little bit more about that and this tractor in this episode of Medium on the Move. We're in upstate New York at a fairground. It's lovely here. It is so cute. This is one of the cutest fairgrounds I have ever stayed at or been to. It's absolutely adorable, and the people are incredible. This out here is a little tiny tractor that kids can play on, which is so cute. We happen to be parked next to it. I want to jump in today though with synchronicities. I told you they were coming back. 2 of them happened to me just in the last couple of days, and I want to share them with you. One is really funny. One is just a sign of love that warmed my heart. The funny one happened today. Terry and I were on a bike ride, and we love finding rail trails. Now, rail trails for biking are wonderful. They are off the road. They're usually paved. They're long distance most of the time, meaning you can just bike safely for 5-6 miles out, 5-6 miles back. It's a great workout. So we were biking. We were about 5 miles out, and I'm thinking to myself, should I turn around? Or should we go 1 more mile? Or is this good for the day? Just as I'm thinking that, up ahead, 3 little birds, were not outside my doorstep singing sweet songs. They were in a tree having a birdie fisticuff fight, and just happened to fall out of the tree mid-fight, feathers and tails and everything flying everywhere, right in front of me as I am biking into them. Now, if they didn't split up and break apart 1 foot in front of my face, I would have run right into them, which was hysterical in itself. But I think the thing that was even more funny was the sound that I let out. I asked Terry about it. He said, yeah, you sound a little bit like Peter Brady. And I thought, yeah, probably would have made him proud. It was this glorious, awkward, don't know what to do sound. It was really quite entertaining. Why was I not recording? That's the thing. I record these bike rides all the time, and this was the one moment I happened to not record, because you would have laughed if you would have heard it. It was very awkward. So I pulled over, caught my breath, because I had a moment of I was just about to have 3 fighting birds smack me in the face. So I caught my breath, got back on the bike, and decided, okay, well, we'll go a little bit further. I might have gone maybe 10, 20 feet. Something caught under my tire, shot up around, and hit me literally in the rear end. Hurt. It was not like a little bump. It was just and I think it was a piece of wood or something like that. So I pulled over and I said, Terry, I think this might mean that we need to turn around and head back. Maybe these are some signs. Just as I'm saying it, a spider drops down from a tree right in front of my face. And I said, yep, time to turn back. We're gonna head back now. Now, I don't know why the signs were there and so strong to say, hey, trying to catch your attention. It's time to turn back and head back. Because once we turned around, easy sailing the whole way. And I don't know why the signs came through. Here's the cool thing. Sometimes you don't have to know why. Sometimes you just say thank you for the guidance and know that perhaps if you didn't follow it, something else would have happened, and you'll never know what that is, but that's okay. If we spend too much time thinking too much about, okay, well, why did this happen? Why did that happen? Then we can get into the rut where we're so focused on the why of the thing that happened in the past, we're not open to the next signs that come up. So just something to keep in mind. I had to learn that the hard way. I was very impatient in the beginning. I had to know everything. I was so curious. I was like, I want to know why this happened. Why did I see that? Why did I see this? Why did I see this? I'm just chalking it up to clear signs to turn around and head back. And it worked really well. Like I said, smooth sailing all the way back. The other sign that happened to me is we left the last place. We left Vermont, and now it's kind of southern Vermont, far enough away from my son that we weren't really close, but close enough that we even took a moment to like drive toward each other and wake up early each morning and drive toward each other to go kayaking. And that was the last I saw him. And I knew when I left Vermont and headed to New York, I would officially be too far away, even for an early morning drive, to go see my son. And I was kind of bummed because I love him. I adore him, and I'm just gonna miss him. And I found a bunch of fairgrounds, and I'll explain a little bit more about the fairground thing later, but I found a bunch of fairgrounds, called 3 or 4 of them, left a message and said, hey, we're coming in these dates. I'm just calling to see if you can accommodate us for these dates. And only one called me back, and it's the fairground we're at now. And it happens to be the Sunshine Fairground. And that's my son's nickname, Sunshine. That was my little, it was like a message of love. It made me feel like, you know what, you might be, far away again at this point from him, but you're still connected, and you'll be back again, and you'll always be connected. So it was a really cool sign. It really warmed my heart. We are in Cobleskill, New York at a fairground. And the reason why we're at a fairground this time is it's the holiday weekend. Now, Terry and I, we were down in Florida heading up the East Coast, and we knew, I'm the scheduler, so this is on me, but I knew that the holiday weekend was going to be difficult finding a campsite, because if you know a New Englander, or if you're a New Englander, you know they've got a really strong work ethic, and they work hard and they play hard. So those campsites for the 4th of July weekend, those things were booked out a year in advance. Good luck finding any of them. So I called the 5 different fairgrounds, waited for someone to call me back. Donna called me back from the Sunshine Fair and said, yeah, sure, come on, hang out here with us. And that's what we're doing. So we're here and we're just relaxing. It's a lot more peaceful than perhaps the campground on 4th of July weekend, probably having some really fun parties. And we're just gonna ride out the weekend and then hit the road again. Fairgrounds are wonderful for this, absolutely wonderful. And actually, I want to talk a little bit about the different types of campgrounds that are out there. I wasn't even aware that you could park at a fairground. Turns out, because of all the different types of activities that go on, because the fair only happens for a week or two, all the rest of the year, they rent the fairgrounds out to different events. Well, a lot of times those events come with people that have RVs. So most of the fairgrounds that I've come across over this time that we've been on the road, most of them have RV hookups. This one that we have here, it's got a hookup, but it's kind of an interesting style. There isn't a septic area where we can dump. There is, when we leave, they have a dump station, but we don't have septic on our site. But we do have water and we do have electric. Now you gotta get creative every now and then, because in this spot that we're in here, the electric is way over here by the black, cord. And then we gotta go all the way over here to hook up our water. But it's no big deal. Get a little bit creative. There's a lot of peace and calm here because there's not a lot of activity, and we really, really love it. Now, if you're going to be RVing, I would advise you to sit down and really think about your personality, what you want to get out of it, because there's a lot of different campers out there. There's a lot of different people who are RVing. Some are extroverts, some are introverts, and there's just a variety all the way through. And there's a lot of different places you can park your rig. You can park at private campgrounds, where that's where you hear the term, campers will call it a parking lot, because it's just RV, 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 and they're just lined up side by side. Well, parking at those types of campgrounds are great because you typically have full hookups. People are very social, very friendly. That's where you would go for the swimming pool and the kids playground and bingo night and golf cart. So if you're in that kind of a mood and you want to go out, or if you're an extrovert and you really are camping to socialize, you definitely want to go to the private campgrounds. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, like all the way over to the other end, introverts, this is probably for you if you're up for it, is dry camping, boondocking. And what that is there are no hookups. It's not a campground. You don't pull in, you don't check in anywhere. There's no hookups. So you rely on things like solar panels, a generator, et cetera, et cetera. But the cool part is that you drive out into the wilderness and you can park typically for up to 2 weeks. There's all of this government land, most of it's on the west side of the country, where you can just roll in and park, stay for up to 2 weeks for free. Gorgeous. Sometimes you can find places where there's no one around for miles and you wake up to a mountain right out front of your RV, and it's spectacular, but it's a little bit more of the nitty gritty because, like I said, you don't have water hookups, you don't have septic hookups, and you don't have electric hookups. So that is a little bit more of a challenge, but if you want to RV for that ultimate nature experience, then the boondocking and the dry camping is for you. We found a couple solutions in the middle, and that's fairgrounds. Fairgrounds, state parks, these types of places usually will have like a water hookup or an electric hookup. Some state parks don't have any hookups either, but it's a lot more quiet. It's a lot more low key. You're still in a city or near a town, so you're not out in the boondocks, but it's a little bit more peaceful because they don't have the pool, they don't have the kids playground, they don't have golf carts running around and stuff like that. It's a place to kind of just chill and recuperate, and we've landed in one of those here. Also, I've mentioned this before too, equestrian centers are a great place. They typically have hookups because people who travel with horses typically travel with RVs as well, and horse energy, it's delicious. It's an absolutely wonderful thing. There's so many varieties out there. I'm sure you heard about parking in Walmart parking lots, but there's also parking in, especially for overnight, it's great to park in a casino parking lot, usually because there's security there, and there's at least going to be a couple other truckers that are parked there for the night as well. It's kind of makes you feel a little bit more secure, but there's this whole range of RV experiences and where you can park your RV. So if you're going to do this, if you're going to go out, think about it. Why are you RVing? Are you RVing to get really, 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 really deep into nature? If you are, learn about boondocking, learn about dry camping. If you're out there to have fun and party and, you know, connect with your neighbors and laugh and have a good time, drink some beer around the fire, then you definitely want to find a private campground to rent in. Works all the way around. I'm finding that Terry and I just kind of bounce back and forth. We'll go to one for a while and then we'll go to a different one for a while, and the scenery is so different. So while we were just in one that had a whole bunch of kid energy because there were so many kids, and they were great kids, but there were so many kids at this place that it was just that fun, and you could hear kids laughing and all that, and so it was loud and crowded until nighttime, and then everything calmed down. Now we come to the fairgrounds and it's just quiet all day all night but there's also nobody around. So think about it. Are you an extrovert or are you an introvert? Something to consider before you hit the road.
Belly.